So bringing a video into Edpuzzle and then chopping that video up in a way that allows you to assess student understanding of that video it's a great tool. It's a great tool to be able to use. So if I come over here to search, there's a lot of videos already in here, but you can see the library that I can choose from. I can choose from anything on YouTube, Khan Academy, National Geographic, TED Talks, Crash Course. So there's a lot of different stuff in here, and I can also just search. So if I'm doing a search, let's say, again, we go to multiplying fractions. And so there's our wrap, our multiplying fractions wrap. Here's our math antics, guys. So there's a lot of ones that we saw in other places. Okay, if I decide to bring this in, now I decide I want to use it, I can watch it.
You've probably noticed that we've been talking an awful lot about fractions around here lately.
Okay,
well,
maybe
I
don't really want a lot of that stuff. Maybe I just want to focus on one problem.
Vision. That means if I have the problem 1/4 times 2/3, it's the same as the problem 1 divided by 4 times 2 divided by 3. That means I have both multiplication and division in the same problem. And because they get along so well, that means I can just rearrange our problem to look like this. Now it looks like two multiplication.
And maybe I want to finish it up right here. So I'm starting at 49 seconds and I'm ending at 2:08. So I've cropped it. I've used the crop tool up here. And let's say I want to put in an audio track. So as this guy is talking, I might not want to hear him talking at all. I might want to talk over it and say one. So what we have here is 1 divided by 4 times 2 divided by 3. And when the students hear it, they won't hear this guy talking. They'll hear me talking. So I will tell them what I want them to do. You know what I mean? So I drop in my own soundtrack over this. Okay, and it's not gonna let me get away with just recording part of it. It says right here, you have to record the audio of the whole video to be able to save it. So I decide that, okay, I don't want to do that. He's good enough for me. I might want to put in some audio notes. So this is kind of a hack on having to record the whole thing.
Vision. That means if I have the problem 1/4 times 2/3, it's the same as the problem 1 divided by 4 times 2 divided by 3.
So I might pause it there, click on the audio note, and say, this is what we talked about in class earlier today. I know the numbers are a little different. The one we worked on in class was 1/3 times 1/4, but we talked about the idea that we're multiplying numerators and multiplying denominators. Okay, so there's no difference in this problem than the problem we worked on in class today.
That means I have both multiplication and division.
So you can see now there's a note up here, right? So if they were to click on that as they watched it, they would hear my note. Actually, I think it actually stops and plays my note automatically, without.
That means I have both multiplication and division in the same problem.
So I might stop it here now and drop in a question. Right here, and I want it to be an open-ended question, and I might say, which two functions are taking place in this problem? Okay, and so we just keep moving forward, I think.
And because they get along so well, that means I can just rearrange our...
Okay, and so it will stop this video at these places where I can leave vocal notes and where I leave questions. as it moves through the actual video itself. So students are having to purposefully interact with this video as they watch it, instead of just having it on.
And this is the one that shows you if they've done it.
It shows you not only if they've done it, but how well they understood it as they watched it. Okay, so as a teacher now, when I'm prepping for class the next day, I go into Edpuzzle and I look at my class and I see, do I have good understanding of this topic before we actually jump into the content today? Okay, I just don't make that assumption that my kids have done it. Now I can actually see that they have. Okay, you can assign it to a class. In this case, the idea of sharing it with anyone. When I share it now, I can actually gives me an embed code, so I can actually embed it. Okay. Which is a great key here, because what I'm going to ask you to do is to create an Edpuzzle lesson. Oh, I think I did it on this account. And so what you're going to do in Weebly is you're going to add a page. You're actually going to add 2 pages. This is a little break in here. You're going to add 2 pages to your Weebly site. 1 page.
On build or under pages?
Under pages. So you're going to click on pages and you're going to create a standard page. Let's make our first standard page, let's call that one podcast. And we save that one. And then your second page is going to be,
Is this standard page as well?
yes, is going to be flipped class. So as everything in this class is due a week from when it's assigned, by next Thursday you should have your home page, your blog, your About My Class page, your a podcast page, and a flipped class page. Okay? Your podcast page doesn't need anything more than the podcast from SoundCloud embedded in it, and that's all the information for that is on that the Google slide deck at the bottom of the assignment from Tuesday's class. But your flipped class page is going to have the flipped class environment on it. So in this case, we have an embed code when we share it that I copied. You remember hopefully you remember from when we first set that up, that idea of dragging over that embed code block into your layout, going into that custom HTML and pasting in the code. Okay, and just like anything else, that Edpuzzle will drop right in there.
Vision. That means if I have a problem.
And that's all we need to put on there? Just
So far. So far. Well, I'm just giving you the show how to do it. You're actually going to have three like flipped lesson environments on this page. Okay, so Edpuzzle is, it's real easy to use. On the web page here, next to the little video, the promotional video for it, there's also another tutorial on here on how to use it. Okay, so you can use that tutorial. If this tutorial doesn't knock your socks off, then there's 50 more on YouTube that you can always dig up. Was that how your 514 class was? Just go to YouTube and figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't even that.
Oh.
It's a traumatic.
Still have a little PTSD? That's all right. Okay, so then any questions about Edpuzzle? Just get in there, have fun with it, explore with it. Again, I'm not a super stickler on how many questions you put in your Edpuzzle, how many voice notes you put in there, whether you overlay your own audio soundtrack. I want you to get some practice using it. Okay? So, put in, open-ended question, put in a multiple choice question, kind of look into it and play around with it. Get a feel of that tool. Tack is a very different type of a tool, okay, and it's one that I actually really really like. I utilize it in my school account. The one that I show you here isn't going to be too robust because this is just on my personal email. Okay, but one of the very cool things that that Tack allows you to do, and I'm just going to create a new Tack. So we're going to start here with we're just going to start with a blank canvas. Okay, and so this is what Tack looks like when you start with a blank canvas. There's nothing on it, but it allows you to add a lot of different things. You can put in a headline, text, a photo, a video, audio, a button of some kind, a map, something you want to sell. There's all kinds of stuff here. We're only going to use it for video in this case. Okay, but down here below is a comment stream, and this is the beauty of Tack, is that it's where Edpuzzle restricts students to stop. They won't let the video go further until they answer the question. Tack is a little more open, okay? And so what Tack allows you to do is to put something up here in the top and then have a comment stream down below. So in this case, if I wanted to, let's say, let's go to, I don't want to do this one, the guy with the chalkboard and the funny t-shirt. Let's say we're at Math BFF. I have this 11-minute video. That's too much. I can't do that. I really find that Tack is great to use with shorter videos. Okay, 2 minutes 37 on multiplying fractions. So let's say I'm going to use this video here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that URL, jump over to Tack, and I'm going to choose video. I'm going to select YouTube. I don't want that one. I want this one. Okay, so here's my multiplying fractions video that I have up here. I'm going to add a headline, but I want it above there. So in my headline, I'm going to say, watch this video, and then I might put in some text down here, and in my text, I'd say, after watching, right below in the comment stream, the one thing you learned the best by watching. Okay, I might want to make that bold. Okay, so if I create this little, just this little Tack here. Okay, and then I publish it. I can grab, by using this, the international, one of the few international codes for sharing, a little arrow coming out of a box. I click on share, and it gives me the opportunity to share it in all these different places. If I use Edmodo, I can share it in Edmodo. If we're using Google+, I can share it there. But in this case, I'm going to share it on a web page. So I'm just going to click that embed code. and I can get the full tack, the no background tack, or the thumbnail tack. I'm going to choose the no background, and I grab the embed code. I go over to my Weebly page, again, grab that embed code block, drop in that custom HTML, and then so now what it does is it will embed that, watch this video, they'll watch it, embed it in here, they'll have the instructions after watching right below the comment, the one thing you learned the best, and then they comment in this stream. And so what I have now is in my estimation, for me it's not as quick and easy as Edpuzzle, in that I don't get this great little chart that shows me 100%, 30%. These kids didn't watch it. I have to actually go through and read what the kids wrote. You know what I mean? And get their real answers and have them maybe thinking a little more, and me digging into their thinking a little bit. It's it's a little more, it's a lot more free range than Edpuzzle. You could, yeah, absolutely, and you could go in and look at their answers for sure. Okay, it's just like a different environment. So if you want to shake things up a little, move things around, make things a little different, you can create this little different environment using Tack. It will. It'll be a stream. It'll be a comment stream. So the more comments that get popped in here, right? The more, and they all have to have Tack accounts to be able to post it here. So now I'll leave a comment. I can put an emoji in there, but I learned that you multiply denominators, multiply numerators, you post it, and now it becomes part of the post. Okay, and then students, in this case, it becomes more community-based, and students can read each other's posts. Could you do the same kind of thing in like a Google Plus community? Sure. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Right, but this is something that this is something that's now in my Tack, and I can use it over and over again. And it's just kind of, Tack isn't necessarily made specifically for doing this, but it's a neat way to be able to do this. Any questions about Edpuzzle or Tack? Again, these are just jump in them, jump into them, and see kind of how they fit on you. You know what I mean? You might like one a lot better. You might like the other one a lot better. You might not like either of them. Okay. This class is all about exposure. All right. So your blog post for this week has to do with flipping class. So I've got a couple readings in here. They're both about 3-4 years old. That's right when flip class was like, like the title I gave the blog post, like what the flip, what is this, right? So one of my educational heroes, Alan November, wrote an article, response to 5 criticisms of flipped learning. And then Mary Beth Hertz for Edutopia wrote a pro and con article. Neither article is super long, but I want you to read both articles and then just write a blog post detailing your thoughts on flipped learning, how what you feel about it as a teaching and learning tool, and include any personal experience you've had. So if you've taught in a school where teachers are doing it, if you've taken a class where you've had to do it, just you can add your own personal thoughts on it. But just a reflection on flipped learning. And then your project this week is my favorite thing on cooking shows is when they do something 3 ways. Like I'm going to do foie gras 3 ways. So you're going to do flip lesson 3 ways. You're going to create 2 videos and you're going to find 1. Okay? Create 2, find 1. The first one you're going to create is a computer-based screencast. So you're going to use Screencast-O-Matic, and you're going to create a 2 to 4 minute technical tutorial to demonstrate any computer-based skill. When I say technical, it doesn't have to be highly technical. Okay, you don't have to dive into HTML code or do a pivot table in Excel. It can be putting in a header image. It can be resizing an image in Prezi, signing into your student account, something that you would do for your students. Okay, if you wanted to teach your students to do something that you need them to do in Google Docs, on web browser, anywhere, then make a tutorial on that. Okay, 2 to 4 minutes long. Nothing, nothing intensive. You don't have to do any editing. You don't have to be super funny or engaging, right? As a matter of fact, when you're doing a technical tutorial, it's rarely funny or engaging, unless you're an 8-year-old British kid and that's just funny and engaging on its own. Okay, so there's an example of one in here from a prior 515 student. Where she's just putting a header into a doc in Google Docs.
Not just the last initial.
Okay, and just talking about the way that she would have her students put a heading in a Google Doc in her own class. Okay, so anything that you would want kids to do on the desktop of a computer. Does that make sense? Awesome. Next will be one that you complete on your iPad. So an iPad-based teaching video. In this case, you're gonna use one of those apps, or if there's a different app that I didn't list up there that you have used before and you want to use, that's perfectly fine. But I want you to use one of those to create a 2 to 4 minute video for your students that teaches or reviews some aspect of classroom content. So parts of a flower, types of angles, the water cycle, writing a topic sentence, whatever content you have taught, will taught, are teaching, okay? Make it something that you can use, right? It can be literally anything. And it doesn't need to be intensive, doesn't need to be 18 minutes, it needs to be 2 to 4 minutes, okay? Again, you're practicing using a tool. Another example here from a
We're going to have you rewrite that number.
Student, 515 student.
98 without the percentage sign.
Okay, converting percentages to decimals. The third video you're going to need to dig up is find it on YouTube. Something on digital citizenship. Okay, are we familiar with the elements of, or some of the elements of digital citizenship? I think by now you would be, but if you're not, you can always do a Google search on digital citizenship. And one of the awesome things that will happen for you is you can go, what is the definition of that? Digital access. Technology users, not everyone has the same opportunities when it comes to, that's not a really good definition. So I might jump into cool images to try and find some different elements here. And then I see all good digital citizens. They protect private information. They stay safe online. They respect themselves and others. They stand up to cyberbullying. They respect copyright. They manage their digital footprint. They balance the time they spend online. Any video that is connected to the age and type of kids that you serve, that you could see yourself utilizing in the classroom to teach some element of digital citizenship to kids, find it. Okay? There's tons of them out there. I'm specifically not defining, any particular areas or giving you, an intensive definition of this. I want you to kind of be an explorer when it comes to looking for one of these videos. Okay, so those are the 3 videos you're going to be responsible for. But I do not want you to put those videos by themselves onto your page. Okay, they're going to have to be housed in a learning environment. Okay, so I want you to use Tack in part 2 here to flip those videos. I want you to use Tack to flip your computer-based screencast. I want you to use Edpuzzle to flip your iPad-based teaching video. and I want you to use either tool to flip your found digital citizenship YouTube video.
So there's only a total of we're making the video and then we're gonna flip it. And that's what once we flip it, we're uploading it on.
You're embedding it into your page, right? So by the time you're done, let me find here real quick. Let me find a video here on, oh, there we go. We got a cool crash course video on fair use.
Today we're continuing our discussion of copyright law in his 2011 book. They can opt to destroy me. Later I post a bunch of...
Okay, so I find a video on fair use and I want to put it in a Tack. So I create a Tack. Maybe I'll try a template, see what comes up. That's a little groovy. Fair use. I drop in a video. Paste that guy in there. I put in whatever I need to put in. I go to share. I publish it. I then grab that embed code. Obviously, this is not a very good version of it because I didn't do anything to it, but I just want you to see what your page should look like when you're done. I'll drop another embed code in here. And now I have, so on my page here, and what I would do is I would drop in here, I would say, my ed puzzle, this is my, I'll give it a title. This is fractions flipped. And then this one is called fractions tacked. Give it a title to break it up so it just doesn't look like it's, of course I want it separated a little bit here, so I'm going to drop in a spacer because I don't like them all bunched up together. Again, we want to deal with aesthetics a little bit, and then I bring in a title here and fair use tacked. And so, because I want it to look a little clean, kind of got that set up there. So one of the things I can do, because my Tack here, it's, I might want it to go further down my web page. I might want the window to be longer on the page. So I can always click off of the Tack itself, and there's a lot of code in here. There's Tack, for whatever reason, Tack uses a lot of code in what's in there. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I can see over here that the width is 640 and the height is 505. I might want to change that height 505 to be like 900. And in that case now, it'll extend that now longer here so that the entire Tack, you can see now, there's a little bit of play in there, but my video, my instructions, my video, my title, and then my comment stream is all encased, is all in there instead of it being kind of squished down like that. So I can always play around with the height and the width of the things that I'm embedding just by diving into the code. That's really the only thing that you want to play around with the code on. And sometimes when you click on that, this window, the edit window, will be covering it up. You can always just kind of slide that out of the way like that, and then click on Edit Custom HTML. Let's say I wanted the width to be wider than 640. I could always say 100%, and it would fill up the entire width of the available space. I guess that's as wide as it goes, huh? Really? Let me see if I do like 800 if it goes wider. Oh yeah. So I can make it wider. You know, I can play around with what it looks like on the page. Okay, so I kind of broken it up with titles. I had my headline up here. Flipped lessons. And I've got my web page set up for that. So you'll wind up having 3 different flipped lessons on this page. You'll have an Ed Puzzle content video that you create, a Tack computer-based skill video that you've created, and then you'll have a fair use or a digital citizenship video in either one of those interfaces that you choose. And then we kind of see what that looks like. I'll go to my flipped class page. You know, I might play around with a little bit. I might make in this case, I might make my my titles bigger and probably bold them up so that you can they actually are more visible. But you know, it's all that aesthetic stuff is your choice. What you want it to look like. All right, any questions about all that stuff? Again, I flew through it pretty quickly, but again, I do have it on video, and I will be putting it at the bottom of the page for those of you guys that are here that need to go back, and then for the couple that did not make it tonight. There's a couple of examples here. These examples here will take you to so the pages of some former students who I thought did a pretty good job doing this. So you can check them out here. And then there's also a Tack example down below as well. So there's a couple of examples for you to look at if you'd like to. But beyond that,
I have a quick question.
yes,
On posting the comments, the 2 comments that we have to post,
on the blogs.
where do we post them?
You post them on their actual blog page.
Okay, because I did it on Google Classroom.
Okay,
Or
so
Google Community.
so what you can do is
That's the only thing that I'm not.
yeah, just
So go to their actual blog and leave a
go to
comment?
the actual blog and comment there. Because that is where I'll look. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that.
No, that's okay.
If you've done that already, if you've commented in the Google Plus community instead of on their actual blogs, go ahead and just copy and paste your posts. So if you've left a comment here, okay, so you go into if you've left a comment in the Google Plus community, just copy it from the comment from there, go into their actual blog post.
So every week we're posting the 2.
Yeah, just click like where it says 0 comments, or it'll say 1 or 2 comments once it starts getting commented on. Then you can actually leave a reply and comment there. Okay? Any other clarifying questions like that?
I did have one question. On the blog, I noticed everyone else's, because the blog is from the same page, it's just different ones, right? So when I share my blog from this week, it showed the pictures from last week. Does that matter?
As long as they're getting to your blog, they'll find
Yeah.
them. So when you're in your blog, so you'll have your blog. So this is Brooke, she's not here, but if you click on the blog, it'll take you to the blog page. So you can leave the URL to your blog page, which is just whatever your name is, .weebly.com/blog.
Okay.
So that's the page. Let's say that, this is her second blog post. Here's her first one. If you click on the title of the individual blog, it'll now take you to /blog/.
Okay.
So each blog has its own web page as well.
That's what I was looking
So you can also post that,
Okay.
and that'll post the. So when you put that one in the Google Plus community, when people click on it, it'll take them right to that post,
Okay.
not your actual blog page.
That's what I
Either one is acceptable because when you're on the blog page, you can find the blog. But yeah, if you wanted to send them right to that
So is
right to that
okay
post.
If like I need to go back and fix all my like comment on people's blogs, like if I get that late.
No, I actually I actually look at the blog posts a little later than just about anything else. So yeah. So yeah, we're now 4 sessions in after 2 weeks. It's a lot of work, I know. So that's again, that's why it's 7 o'clock and I'm cutting you loose.
And then Tuesday and Thursday, we come next week Tuesday. And Thursday.
Next week Tuesday, Thursday, we're having an asynchronous class.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So
then,
there.
and then the following week just once a week.
Yeah. So from here on out, it's just Tuesdays. Although next Thursday,
Oh, okay.
you will have there will be stuff, and I'll email you with that next Thursday. So as we get into the last few weeks, there will be less weekly work and more working toward the case study, which is kind of the bigger project of this class. And for me, your case study is not a paper. I actually want you to create video case studies. So it's a little different. We'll talk about the case study next Tuesday. Okay, so you can begin prepping for that. But yeah, no papers. We're not writing papers in here.
Thank you. Happy 4th.
There's right. Yep, my 23rd wedding anniversary on Sunday too. So
Congratulations.
July 3rd, which makes it very easy to remember, right? Never forget it. Day before the 4th.